Moving on to the engine, it is a mess under here. This is the battery tray. The battery tray is dirty. It has a little bit of rust, but it is very little rust. It's mostly just real dirty. It would clean up very nicely and coat of paint, and it would be like new. I always kept it coated with a substance that neutralizes battery acid, so battery acid never got a chance to eat on that metal. Everything under here shows it's 32 years of age. The AC did not work. It's still an R12 system, so obviously most, if not all of it, would get pulled out and replaced and upgraded to an R134A system. Exhaust gas recirculation, alternator was working, but last time it ran was 10-12 years ago. This is not the right air intake. This is for a manifold absolute pressure sensor, a mass airflow sensor, and the right one is a manifold absolute pressure sensor, and I've got that in the shed there, so I would pull this one off and put the original air cleaner assembly back on it. I took this loose. In fact, the clamp is still on it. But I pulled this off, I guess right here. I pulled it off, opened it up, and I had a jump pack, put a jump pack on here for power, and started it cranking and sprayed starter fluid in there, and the engine actually fired. That kind of shocked me, but it fired and ran for about a half a second off of just straight starter fluid because the gas tank had so much corrosion in it. It does have a fuel filter in it. I don't know if that fuel filter would have stopped all that corrosion from getting up into the injectors. But I would guess that really to get this thing running well, if you wanted to get this engine running, you're going to have to pull and clean the injectors at minimum and flush out the gas lines. But like I said, when I opened that hose up and cranked it with spraying starter fluid in there, it actually fired and ran for about a half a second. The engine has over 200,000 miles on it. It's 5.0 liter 302 Windsor. Has over 200,000, I think maybe around 215, maybe 220,000 miles on it. It was starting to burn oil, and it was not running the greatest the last time it ran. But it did get my daughters around until we put the thing up on blocks. For pollution control, it has a smog pump down there. It has an air pump. It has a catalytic converter and O2 sensor on each side of the catalytic converter, and that plus engine warm-up sensing, thermostats and things like that decide when it wants to inject air into the exhaust system for cleaner burning. Because that was all the original pollution control stuff on it, by law you still have to have that on there in Travis County and in Williamson County and most likely Hayes County too. So you can't really pull that off and be able to get it inspected and registered in those counters. There's other counties in Texas that do not inspect that anymore. I know where I went to high school in Washington County, they don't do that. So you could pull all of the fuel injection off of here and slap a manifold and a carburetor on there if you wanted, and that would be just fine for those counties, but you have to be a resident of those counties to get it inspected in places like that.